as all of you know, guys, this is about Nexus plus ACI. Nexus plus ACI. So first of all, this ACI stands for application-centric infrastructure. But we are not jumping directly to it. First of all, we'll discuss about the Nexus switches. We'll see what is the use cases of the Nexus switches, where do we use them, and then why do we have this ACI part here, or what is the difference between a traditional network and then the ACI part. So this is going to be very interesting part here. So now, first of all, as all of you know about a switch, right? So Nexus is also a switch product from Cisco. But in switches, whenever we start with our CCNA or the basic networking fundamental classes, right? So we always learn about Cisco Catalyst switches. So as all of you know, switches are a multi-port device used to provide connectivity to endpoints in the network, right? So switch is a multi-port device which provides connectivity to the endpoints so that these endpoints can communicate with each other. But now in Cisco, we also have this Cisco Nexus switches as well. Cisco Nexus switches. So the use cases of Nexus switches are entirely different as compared to the Catalyst switches. Now, in local area network, we use the Catalyst switches to provide the connectivity. But these Nexus switches, the Nexus switches are specifically designed for data center networks. Specifically designed for data center networks. Do we have any message in the chat box? Yes. Camera is not required, guys. You can turn off your camera. All right. And then after this switch, we'll be moving towards the ACI part, right? So ACI is part of software defined networking. So first of all, I would like to tell you that we are not going from, expert level approach. We'll be starting it from basics, and then after building a basic fundamental knowledge about the Nexus switches, we'll go to the, you can say, the advanced topics on the Nexus switches, and in the last we'll be talking about ACI. All right, guys, and you can turn off your mic also, please. There's a background noise, so please turn off your mic and turn off your camera, and I'll give you some time to ask your doubts and queries as well. Okay, but first of all, let me explain in very simple language what is the Nexus switch and why do we have it in our network, and what kind of products are there offered by Cisco. So we'll discuss about all of these things. Okay, so let's get started with the Nexus switches first. Here, like I mentioned, they're used in data center network. So as all of you know, I'm not expecting you to know about ACI, but all of you guys know about types of network, right? So we have local area network, we have wide area network. Please turn off the mic. It's a humble request, please. Asif. Please turn off your mic. Thank you. Wide area network. And then we have the data center network. So as its name suggests, data center network. Again, can you fix it, Arun? There's a background noise. Can you ask him to mute, please? It's a humble request. Hello. All right. Okay. So in this data center network, guys, data center network is built on three technologies. It offers us the computational resources, it offers us storage resources, as well as the network part. So data center network offer us computational resources, the storage resources, and if you want to access those resources, if I want to access the computational resources, the storage resources, I have to build the network. I have to build the connectivity. So in data center networks, you'll always see that you have the computational resources for which Cisco is offering us Cisco UCS. Okay. Then for storage area network, we have Cisco UCS, which can be used as a storage appliance. We use third party vendor switches. And for storage, Cisco is offering us Cisco MDS switches as well. And to build the underlying infrastructure and the connectivity, to build the network, we are using Cisco Nexus switches. So in this particular batch, we'll be talking about the Nexus switches as well as ACI, but this is not about the whole data center. So if your plan is to get data certified or data center certified in the future, I would recommend you to go for Cisco Nexus switches first, because this is the foundational stuff in data center networks. Once you have the Cisco Nexus switches knowledge, then you can have the Cisco MDS switches knowledge as well. Then you can go for UCS also, because data center network is not just based on a single technology. Data center network or data center technology is very vast, and it has a lot of products and devices which are being used to build the overall solution. So that's why we always start from Nexus switches if we want to enter in the data center networking field. Now you might be thinking that why do we really need to learn about data center networks? Of course, yes, guys, because now you see, right, we are hearing about what every day. We see that we talk about artificial intelligence, right? That AI is coming. We are getting everything online. We are getting grocery online, right? We are shopping online. We are booking airplane tickets, hotels. Everything is online now, right? And it's going to be, we'll say, the world is going to be very different in upcoming years. But whenever you talk about artificial intelligence or grocery shopping, online shopping, bookings, everything, where exactly it's stored, how artificial intelligence is giving us response. You'll not believe, even the OpenAI, right? They're investing almost $500 billion just to build the data center networks. So this is also very good news for network engineers, because if we could go that side, if we could learn about data center technologies, because in future you see that most of the things are now moving towards the artificial intelligence, the machine learning, data engineering, and all of these things, right? So all these technologies are entirely based on data center networks, guys, right? So that's why the future is going to be very future proof, you can say, or very good options for the future network engineers to learn about the data center technologies. And the good thing to start with is, again, we'll come back to the Nexus switches. Okay, the Nexus switches. So like I said, Nexus switches is a switch, a multi-port device which provides connectivity to the servers now. In local area network, we are using Catalyst switches to provide connectivity to desktop, mobile phones, printers, right? Because they are also connected with the access point, the wireless connectivity. And Nexus switches is for data center networks. The Nexus switches are designed for high performance. Okay, they are designed for scalability. We are expecting very low latency in the data center networks. In the data center networks. Okay, and they support next generation features, means they can be automated, they can be managed from a centralized controller, they can be managed from a centralized controller. Now the first difference is, when you talk about catalyst switches, they are running an operating system which is known as Cisco iOS. But when we talk about Nexus switches are running on an operating system which is known as NXOS, guys. The operating system is different now. It's not Cisco iOS, it is Nexus operating system. And now this Nexus operating system is built keeping all these things in mind. In this Nexus switches or in NXOS, we have the capabilities of automation. Okay. We have the capabilities of programmability, and they also support high availability in the network. They also supports high availability in the network comparatively. Then you will say, okay, how we manage the Nexus switches or how we make the configuration. So NXOS or Nexus switches are very flexible. You can configure the Nexus switches using the command line interface, the graphical user interface, and as well as you can use APIs, application programming interface, to configure the Nexus switches from a remote API agent, right? They give us security features because data center network is very critical for any corporation or any company, right? So Cisco Nexus switches, they have all the security features which can be used to protect our overall environment. Like port security is supported, but alongside the port security we have 802.1x support also, right? To authenticate the users whenever they are connecting with us. Then in the Nexus switches, there's a very interesting feature which is known as ISSU. ISSU, in service software upgrade. Because now in Catalyst switches, we can upgrade the operating system, but we have to have the downtime, because you have to shut it down or like it will reload, and in ongoing process you can't upgrade it. But the Nexus switches allow us to upgrade the software even our Nexus switches is still in the network and still forwarding the traffic. It's still forwarding the traffic. Nexus switches supports the virtualization technology also. And in our particular this in this training, we will be talking about a very interesting technology which is known as VXLAN. I'll give you an introduction of EVPN also, BGP EVPN. Okay, we have the support of VRF as well as the network segmentation, or which is known as virtual device context. Then right now I'm just giving you a brief about this. When we talk about the Nexus switches can run two types of operating system, guys. I'm not going into details right now, but the Nexus switches can run two types of operating system. First is NXOS, Nexus OS operating system, and the second operating system is known as ACI OS. So we'll come to that part. What is the major difference between this NXOS and ACI OS? So when you're running it in NXOS, it will act as a standalone switch and the configuration will be made locally. But if you change it to ACI OS mode, then the configuration can be done through a controller. So that's why we'll come to that ACI discussion, and at that time we'll talk about this part, that what is the difference between NXOS mode and the ACI OS mode. ACI OS mode. Okay. Then in data center networks or in any network where we are using the Nexus switches, it depends organization to organization on the behalf of their requirement. They can select or they can choose the products. They can choose the products for their network. So now Cisco offer us Nexus 2000 series, Nexus 3000 series, Nexus 5000 series, 7000 series, and now 9000 series. So in Nexus, we have various product lines like Nexus 2000, and in short we call them 2K, 3K, Nexus 5K, Nexus 7K, and Nexus 9K switches. Nexus 9K switches. And it's 2025 and we are moving towards virtualization also. So Nexus switches is available in Nexus virtualized switch. So you can purchase Nexus switches in hardware mode or in a virtualized mode. So in case of a virtualized mode, the image of the switch can be installed on a server as a virtual machine. On a server as a virtual machine, it can be installed. So this is just a overview about the Nexus switches here, in which we have a very interesting features and they are very scalable. When it comes to the bandwidth, guys, Nexus switches, they offer very high bandwidth, okay, interfaces, because whenever it comes to connect the endpoints, right now we are not going to connect the usual endpoints with the Nexus switches. I'm going to connect servers, and they require very high bandwidth interfaces. Here. So in this Nexus switches, we have high bandwidth interfaces. They support 1 gig, 10 gig, 40 gig, 100 gig, 400 gig, even 800 gigabit Ethernet. So they can go up to 800 gigabit interfaces also, guys. They have very high bandwidth to support the data center network traffic. And you will notice whenever you are selecting a switch for your network, you'll have to choose from one of the available options. And once you'll see the name, of the switch, you will get the idea of the maximum bandwidth supported. When you look at the name of an
Sorry, sir. The background noise is coming. Just throw him out. After many times, he's doing the same thing. Just throw him out, sir.
sorry.
Background noise is coming from someone's. It's disturbing us.
Yeah, I also told to Arun. Arun, can you fix it, please? Can you just
He is removed, sir. He is removed.
okay, thank you now. Is it okay now, Abhishek?
Yeah, cool, sir. No, fine.
Okay, guys, it's a humble request. Please turn off your mic, and we'll give you time to ask your doubts. So whatever questions you have at this moment, please write it down. If you have the access of a pen and paper, just write it down. And once I'm done, then I'll give you some time so that you can also ask your queries. Okay. Now, I was talking about the bandwidth part here because we need high bandwidth interfaces. So the Nexus switches, let me show you here. Whenever you look at the name of an Nexus switch, this is known as that how the names are defined. So in Nexus, you will see Nexus, N mean Nexus, 9K. It means that this is the 9000 series. Then you have platform type. Either it is a chassis or it is a line card. Now you might be thinking, what is a chassis and what is a line card? What is a chassis and what is a line card, or what is an individual switch? So in a chassis, I'll show you guys, don't worry, okay? Then A, define it, okay? BB, it defines it is 92, 93, 94, 96, and 97. Because now when we talk about the product line, we have 9,000, right? So it's the overall series. But in this 9,000, we have various products like 9200 series, 9300 series, 9400, 9600, 9700. Then it defines the bandwidth, or it also defines the number of interfaces. Sometimes you will see 9364. So it means that it has a 9300 series Nexus switch having 64 switch ports. Okay. Then you will see 9364P, let's say. So if you'll see P, what does this P means? So you look at this, the next thing defines the bandwidth. If you see G, it means that that particular Nexus switch will support minimum 100 Mbps and maximum 1 Gbps. If you see P, guys, whenever you choose an Nexus switch and you see P in the name, it means that it can support up to 10 Gbps. T, 10 Gbps copper. Y, 25 Gbps. Q means quad. Quad means 4. So if you see an access switch and it contains Q, it can go up to 40 Gbps per interface. Then you can see L, 50 Gbps, C, 100 Gbps. And you'll not believe, you see D here, right? It can goes up to 400 Gbps. So you can have Nexus switches who supports even 400 Gbps bandwidth as well. 400 Gbps bandwidth as well. So whenever you look at the name of an access switch, the name holds a meaning. It's not just a random name. It holds a meaning. Okay. So you can look at this. The bandwidth supported is even it can go up to 400 Gbps. It can go up to 400 Gbps. Now I was talking about the switches. Either they can be individual switches or they can be modular switches, right? Or we can have a chassis, or we can have the chassis switches. Just a second. I hope it's visible now. If you look at this, guys, they are the rack switches, fixed module switches. They're also known as fixed module switches. And then if you look at the right hand side, this is also an access switch, but this is a you can imagine the number of interfaces, right? You look at this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in this particular chassis, we have 8 line cards. 8 line cards. Sometimes you can have just 4. You don't need to plug in 8. But as per the requirement, you can keep adding more line cards here. So in this particular 9500 series Nexus switches, we have 9504, 9508, and we also have 9516. It means that you can have 4 line cards, you can have 8 line cards, and you can also have 16 line cards. You can also have 16 line cards. And you'll not believe they are very, very powerful, guys. They are very, very powerful. They support very high bandwidth, right? And you can see the port density. You can just see the number of interfaces they can have. The number of interfaces they can have here. So you have 9504, which has 4 line cards. 9508 means 8 line cards, and 9516 means 16 line cards. So in this Nexus, we have 2 types of switches: fixed module switches and the chassis. So you can see the chassis are more powerful. They have high port density, the number of interfaces, high port density, or you can say the number of interfaces. (400 Gbps, 40 to 100 Gbps. This particular switch has minimum 1 Gbps, 10 Gbps, or 25 Gbps. This 9300 can go from 1 to 10 Gbps. 1 to 10 Gbps. This is the Nexus switches. And when you talk about chassis, oh my god, I'll discuss about it in detail, guys, once we'll start our classes, okay? And then at that time we'll discuss about the building blocks of this chassis, the building blocks of this chassis. Because in this chassis we have the line cards, like I mentioned here, line cards, right? Then they have the supervisor. Then they have power supply, fan trays. They have the fan trays. Then they have the system controller. So I'll talk about all these building blocks once we'll start with our class. Right now I'm just giving you an idea of the Nexus switches, what are they and what they are supposed to do in data center networks. They are supposed to do in the data center networks. But we'll be talking about in detail in our classes that what does this means, or what are all these components here. What are all these components? All right. You know, one of the interesting part is you see the redundant power supplies, because most of the time we talk about high availability. We must have two links, we must have two switches. But what about the power supply, guys? You just plug in one power supply, and if that power supply goes down, your entire switch will goes down. And in data center networks, we cannot afford it. So in most of the Cisco Nexus switches, you will see at least more than one power supply units, so that we can plug in more than one power cables. And in case if one of the power cable is not working, still my Nexus switches will get power from the second source. All right. I hope it makes sense till now. It's going easy now, right? Nexus switches. Then, if we compare it to traditional network, in traditional network, we were using 3-tier architecture. And in that 3-tier architecture, we have total 3 layers. Now, guys, in this 3-tier architecture, please don't turn on your mic. You can put it in the chat box. Tell me about these 3-tier or layers. What are the names of these 3 layers? Please put it in the chat box. Don't turn on your mic, okay? The name of these 3 layers. Siddharth said core distribution access. Okay, access distribution code, core distribution access. Okay, very good, very good. Very good. Very good, guys. Yeah, that's why we call it traditional, Abhishek. Okay, that's why we call it traditional architecture. So in the traditional architecture, we have 3 layers: access, distribution, and core layer. But now in data center networks, when we deploy Nexus switches with ACI, we are using a 2-tier architecture, guys. And in that 2-tier architecture, we have 2 layers. And these 2 layers are known as spine and leaf. So we have spine switches and we have leaf switches, spine switches and leaf switches. So in this three tier architecture, you have the Nexus switches supports both. Okay, in Nexus switches, you have the access layer, access 1, access 2. Then you have distribution 1, distribution 2. And guys, Mr. Arun Kumar has planned a surprise for you guys. So he'll be speaking to us at 9:15 almost. Okay. So core 1 and core 2, they're connected like this. Okay. In traditional architecture, between the distribution and access, it's layer 2 environment. And between the distribution and core, it's layer 3 environment. But on the other hand, in two-tier architecture, we just have two layers of switches, known as the leaf switches and the spine switches. Leaf 1, leaf 2, and then we have the spine layer here, spine 1, spine 2. And the overall topology is simplified. Overall topology is simplified. So in our class, we'll be talking about the advantage of using spine and leaf architecture as compared to the traditional architecture. And between the spine and leaf, the whole network is layer 3. The layer 2 is just limited to the leaf switches, guys. Beyond leaf switches, we have layer 3 environment, and that's why to forward traffic here, we are using VXLAN, virtual extensible local area network. Virtual extensible local area network. So we'll be talking about this VXLAN, that what are the advantages of the VXLAN and how it is configured on the Nexus switches. Second, in CCNA or CCNP, you guys might have learned about spanning tree protocol, STP. But now we don't need STP, guys. We don't need STP to prevent loops. I'm not saying that STP is not supported on Nexus switches. It's supported on the Nexus switches, but we will not be using STP here to prevent the loops, because we have this layer 3 environment. It's okay. Are there any similarities between the Nexus switches and Catalyst switches? Yes, there are differences, but there are similarity as well. The first similarity is both of them are switches, right? They offer us multiple interfaces. Then configuration point of view, the CLI is almost identical. In Nexus switches, we have new commands, new capabilities, but we have the user mode in Catalyst switches, right? So when you log into the user mode, let's say this is a switch. So you will see a sign like this. Then you have the privilege mode. You see a sign like this. And then we have the configuration mode. So in Nexus switches also, we have we have the user mode, we have the privilege mode, and as well as we have the configuration mode. So you go to the configuration mode, and only then you can make the configuration. Only then you can make the configuration. But configuration is not supported in privilege mode or in user mode. We have to go to the configuration mode in order to make the configuration. Now I'll ask you one question, guys. Okay. This is my switch 1. Please listen carefully. Okay. Switch 1. This is switch 2. And they are the catalyst switches. They are the catalyst switches, not the Nexus switches. Okay. And these interfaces are connected between switches. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, in the catalyst switches, we are running spanning tree protocol. So you know that when you run the spanning tree protocol, one of the switch will be acted as root bridge. So let's say switch 1 is the root bridge. So all of the interfaces will become DP. And on the switch 2, one of the interface is RP and rest of the interfaces are alternate. Now guys, I want to utilize all available physical interfaces. I want to forward traffic using all of them. What can I do? What can I do to achieve this? Because by default, STP will block the redundant interfaces, but I want to use all of them.
Ether channel, sir. We can use Ether channel.
We can configure Ether channel.
We
Okay,
can use Ether channel, yeah.
very good. So put it in the chat box also. Okay, guys. Print sets Ether channel, Ether channel. Okay. So Ether channel can be configured here, right? By doing the Ether channel configuration, what I can achieve, I can utilize all available interfaces to forward the traffic. Now, if this is my switch 1 and this is my switch 2, so physically we have 4 interfaces connected, but logically there's just one interface visible, and this interface is known as port channel. So I'll be using this. On this side it will be DP and on this side it will be RP, and we'll be able to utilize all available interfaces. But now this Nexus switches, they give us more advanced options. Because if I ask you the same question, let's say this is catalyst switches. Again catalyst switches. This is my switch 1. This is my switch 2. And this is my switch 3. Again guys, catalyst switches, not Nexus, okay? Now the interfaces are connected like this. Switch 1 is connected with switch 2 and switch 1 is also connected with switch 3. Now tell me one thing in the chat box. This is F0/1, this is F0/2, this is F0/3 and this is F0/4. Can I bundle all these 4 interfaces together on switch 1?
No.
Yes,
Is it
in DPC
possible?
we can. Yes, we can.
Okay. Some of you guys are saying yes, and then people are saying no. In case of catalyst switches, I can't bundle them like this. I can bundle these 2 interfaces together and these 2 interfaces together, but I cannot bundle all these 4 interfaces together. Because in case of Ether channel, we have a condition. On the other side, all of the interfaces must be connected to the same switch. On the other side, all of the interfaces must be connected to the same switch. That's the condition in catalyst switches. But on this same place, if we have the Nexus, let's say this is my Nexus switch, this is my Nexus switch, this is my Nexus switch. The Nexus switches supports a feature which is known as VPC, virtual port channel. So what I can do, I can combine these 2 switches logically. There are requirements for this, of course, okay, and the configuration involves a lot of steps, but this thing is known as VPC, virtual port channel. So now both of the Nexus switches, they will appear as one switch. So Nexus switch 1 will think that it's connected to the same switch on the other side, and then you can bundle all these 4 interfaces together. So on the Nexus switches, we'll be talking about this very interesting feature known as VPC, virtual port channel. Virtual port channel. So it will make sure that 2 switches appear as one, so that these 4 interfaces can be bundled together. These 4 interfaces can be bundled together. I'll talk about the components of the VPC, as well as we'll make the configuration of it, VPC on our Nexus switches when we will be doing the lab. Because guys, whenever we want to learn something, we always believe that theory part is must, but alongside the theory, labs should be there. And the good news is we'll be offering lab access, where you'll get the access to Nexus switches so that you can get hands-on experience. When you're working in real-time network, we can't make the configuration on live networks, right? But if we have the lab environment, in the lab environment, we can get confidence. Okay, if we'll make this configuration, or if we'll execute this configuration or this command, this would be the impact. So that's why we'll have hands-on experience, whatever we'll discuss in this particular training, theory plus lab. Okay. So this is a very interesting feature on Nexus switches, which is known as VPC, Virtual Port Channel. Virtual Port Channel. Then the Nexus switches supports security. They support access control list. They support port security. But port security is not secure option to authenticate. That's why we have 802.1x authentication supported on the Nexus switches. So we can integrate an Nexus switch with ICE, Identity Service Engine, and we can authenticate the user on the basis of username and password. They support the DHCP snooping, which is also a security feature. Okay. MACsec is also supported. Like we have IPsec, similarly we have MACsec to encrypt the layer 2 traffic. Then the basic features like ARP, IP source guard is supported. Okay. Then we have this dynamic ARP inspection feature is there. Then we have a lot more features in here, like control plane policing to protect the CPU of our Nexus switches. So they support a lot of security features as well. Now, let's come to the configuration part. That how we will make the configuration on the Nexus switches. So earlier I was giving you an introduction, right? Now on all the devices of Nexus, this is a Nexus switch. The Nexus switches supports two types of management. They support out of band management. Okay. And they also supports in-band management. In-band management. So in the Nexus switches, we have a console port, as well as they have a dedicated management port. So on this management port, we can configure an IP address and we can access our Nexus switch from a remote location using Telnet or SSH, secure cell. And to access through console, we just need a desktop, and on that desktop, we need a software known as Putty. So we can make the configuration. But I'm talking about NX OS here. I'm talking about NX OS, Nexus Operating System. Nexus Operating System. So I hope till now it makes sense, guys. Just give me a confirmation in the chat box. No need to turn on your mic. In Catalyst VSS or SW, we can do this. What in VPC, one row back, we can. Yes. So in Catalyst switches, we have virtual switching stack. Okay, Malik, and for that we have to make a lot of configuration, as well as we need special hardware. We need the stack cable. But the VPC is more simpler. In VPC, you don't have to make special arrangements. It's way more easier as compared to the switch stacking. Okay. Yeah. Till now, it makes sense, guys. Just give me confirmation in the chat box. All right. Okay. Any questions till now? VPC is only Cisco Nexus technology. Yes, Satyara. Yeah, it's a Cisco technology. Sorry. Yes, Cisco.
Hi, Jack.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
My question is on the technology that you said, the VPC. Is
Right.
there some special configuration that is done? Is it
So
achieved?
VPC, yes, of course, it requires special configuration because we will be adding specific interfaces. Okay, then we have to configure a VPC domain ID, VPC peering, VPC peer link. So of course, it involves configuration, a special configuration to make it work. Okay.
Okay.
Yes, and in our class, when we'll start working on the lab, I'll show you step by step how we can configure VPC and what kind of mistakes we can avoid.
Okay. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Yes, Abhishek.
Yes, sir. So I was just asking one thing. In BPC, I think we can use only two switch together, not more than that. Correct?
In one VPC
Right,
domain, we can have two switches, right?
yeah. So it is scalable or it's not scalable, I think, right?
Sorry,
In data center. Is it scalable in data center or not? As of now, in today.
scalable.
Yeah, in BPC, we can use two switches add together, right?
In
In
VPC,
BPC
one
domain.
domain only two switches are allowed. Yes, you have to create
Yeah,
multiple
so
VPC domains.
so we are using as of now BPC or not? I'm asking it is scalable or not as of now.
No, till now. No.
Yeah, that's good. And one more question. Uh, you will give the lab, it's fine. But did you give us a training also in what command we need to configure? What is our setting part in this? Likewise, I'm asking. Or only you will just give the configuration. You will just fresh from the fresh scratch. You will start configuring, and that's fine. That's it. Or also you will teach us the training regarding troubleshooting because we are lacking in troubleshooting mostly, not in theory part, not in practical part. We are going Pinit lab or anywhere we can do. That's fine. But we are lacking in troubleshooting what it requires. So that's what I'm asking, sir. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, okay, Abhishek. Very good question, by the way. So now, like you said that most of the time we are facing problem with troubleshooting, right? And it's always a very challenging part. So now, when we'll be talking about each and every technology one by one or step by step, so we will see that how VPC is working. Let's take an example of VPC. So I'll show you how VPC works. So we'll talk about this from scratch. Now, in the real-time network, when we'll face the problem, so now if we know how it works, so we will start decoding it and we will see, okay, this thing is good, this thing is good, this thing is good. So it would be easier to find out the problem if we know the overall solution. So that's how we're going to approach towards the troubleshooting thing. Okay.
Yeah, and sir,
Second,
one thing. Yeah, you are sorry. Please go
this
first.
one, and you were asking about labs. So first, I'll start with theory. Then I'll do the lab in front of you guys, and the sessions will be recorded. So you'll get the recorded sessions as well. Once I'll do the lab, you'll have the command lines, we'll note down the commands, and then you can use those commands to make the configuration. So you guys can also practice. But first, I'll show you guys how to configure VPC. All right. Yes, please.
Yes, sir. And sir, last question. You will give us everything like theory, practical, everything. So, in what topic, in which topic you will go deep down, and what topic you will just touch down. So, just we should have clarity, right? So, what topic you will go deep dive, and what topic you will just touch and go. So, that's what I want to know. right?
I'll say the course material, okay? But for like in after this 15 minutes, Arun is going to take over the class, and after that we'll discuss about the course curriculum, and we'll also talk about the ACI part. What is application centric infrastructure? But right now, the Mr. Arun Kumar is going to discuss the enrollment part and all, okay? And then we'll start with the ACI part also. Right now, we are just had the basic discussion about the Nexus switches. So I'll show you what we're gonna cover in this course, what we are going into the details, and then what is this the theory part. Okay, Abhishek?
Yeah, thanks, sir. Sure, sir.
Mohammed Samsudin Ajmal. So we are struggling in lab only. So we can perform lab in virtual environment. Yes, yes. We can perform the labs in virtual environment. Yes, guys. Any other question here? Please feel free to ask.
Yes, I have a question.
Yes.
I want to know the difference between the VPC and then the stack vice.
Sorry?
VPC and stack vice.
VPC and?
Stack vice. I don't know if someone in the group know this. Stack vice.
So the question is VPC versus stack wise. Yes.
Okay.
So I want to know the difference.
I think Justice is asking VPC and VSS, the difference between VPC and VSS, right? Justice? Virtual
Yeah,
stack switching
yeah.
you were asking, right?
I got the question.
Yeah.
The question.
Yes.
So now the VPC is in our Nexus switches. Okay. First of all, and then you talk about the switch stacking,
Yeah.
the stack wise, which is in our catalyst switches. Now, first of all, in the Nexus, when we talk about the VPC, maximum number of switches could be 2 only. But in case of a stack wise, when we create a stack, we can have maximum 9 switches. We can combine 9 switches together and we can make a stack. Then from the configuration point of view, that's the best part about stack wise, because in a VPC, if you have 2 switches, this is my switch 1 and this is my switch 2, and if I've configured a VPC, the configuration is still independent. You'll make configuration on switch 1 and you'll also make configuration on switch 2. But when we create a stack wise, let's say we have a stack in which we have maximum 9 switches. Now one of the switch is elected as master switch, and you can make the configuration from that master switch on this all on all catalyst switches. So they have independent configuration, they have their common configuration. Then between the VPC, we add a special link between these 2 switches, and that is also bundled, and it is known as peer link. This is known as peer link. But for the stack wise, you need a special high bandwidth cable, and we always create a ring, like you connect the first switch with second, third, like this, and the last switch is connected with the first switch, just to avoid the failure. Let's say if this switch goes down, still they are connected. So then from the use cases point of view, the VPC is used in data center and storage area networks, while the stackwise is used in campus and distribution network, or you can call them in the enterprise network. We use the stackwise. Okay, Justice?
Yeah. Thank you. Yes.
Hi, Jack. Hello.
Yes.
traditionally environment of DC it will be using the Nexus switches, but what will be used on the ACI environment to be used VPC?
In ACI?
In ACI, what is used on the VPC? Because traditionally switches we have to be we have to be use the like keep alive and the all the components will be used and the member parts also. But what will be benefits of on the ACI on the VPC?
Right now, if I just give you a brief idea of this, in case of VPC, when we use it without ACI, by the way, we haven't discussed about ACI yet, but if you're asking this question, so without ACI, we have to make a lot of configuration first of all. Then we need VPC peer link. We need to have VPC keep live link also. So if I show you the VPC components, please don't get confused here right now. Okay, we are not going into the details at this moment, but this is without ACI. You have to connect the peer link, the keep live link. They needs to be configured separately and all. But in case of ACI, the VPC configuration is more simpler comparatively. You don't need to connect peer link. You don't need to connect a keep live link. The Cisco ACI will manage it somehow. Okay.
That means traditionally it will be using the keep live and keep peering, but in AC environment it will not to be used there. No, I am correct.
The links don't need to be required connected directly.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sir, one question. Sir, you are telling the first time. I mean, yeah, leader of the training today. So we have many power socket, right, for Nexus for redundancy purpose, right? So suppose power source will be same, but we have the redundancy of the power socket.
So right now, see the direction is going somewhere else. Okay. So Abhishek will discuss about all these questions in detail once we are in the class. Okay. This is just about the Nexus, which is only not about the individual features. Okay. So I have no problem to discuss this, but we have a very short time today to talk about all the features of the Nexus switches or to discuss about all these components. All right. So you can ask me about these specific, scenarios, one-to-one also, no problem. But if you have a general question about the Nexus switches, please feel free to ask.
Sir, I was just lost. So my question was, sir, we have power source will be one only, right? In data center. I'm just asking. And we have the redundancy of the power socket in the Nexus switch. So what it mean? Like if power source will down, then the switch will also down. Is it right or wrong?
So if we go in that direction, when we have the data center, in the data center, we are not just getting the direct supply. We are using a box in between known as UPS. So if this is an Nexus switch and this Nexus switch has two power source, let's say this is power source 1, this is power source 2. So it would be a mistake if both of the power source or power supplies are coming from the same UPS. So in very high redundant networks or high availability networks, they also have redundant UPS also, UPS 1, UPS 2. So one power is coming from one UPS, another power source is coming from another UPS. So even if one of the UPS goes down, still my Nexus switch will be in running state. Okay.
Yeah. Good.
Yes. Okay. Mazhar Ali, in VPC all switches should be of same model. Yes, there are some compatibility metrics. So first they'll check the compatibility metrics and then we can bundle them together. So guys, we'll talk about the ACI, but once we have Mr. Arun. Yes, Arun, you can take over now, please. So we'll take 10 to 15 minutes, guys. And after that, we'll talk about ACI. What is ACI and what is the difference between Nexus OS and ACI OS?
One question. Are we
Yes.
going to cover the dual VPC
scenario in this training, in this class?
While making the configuration, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Sir, what is the minimum requirement to make a ACI lab?
In laptop?
Yeah, in laptop, or we can make in cloud.
16 GB RAM is enough to run the Nexus switches, but for the ACI, we will be running the ACI simulator. That ACI simulator does not consume much resources.
So I can make in my laptop, just like my laptop is i7 and 32 GB. So it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible, Ranjit.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Okay,
Hello.
Arun, I'm audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Arun, please.
So, hello everyone. How was the session so far, guys?
Yeah, absolutely good. Fine.
Good, good.
Amazing.
Great. And for this is just an introduction session. We have even planned something better than this. Okay, so let me share my screen first. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know. So guys, we are planning our Nexus plus ACI combo batch, which is starting from 22nd of the September. Timing is 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Okay, so those who want to have bigger understanding of data center engineering, so they can look forward for this course. Let me briefly explain the course and its detailed feature. So first of all, you guys are attending the webinar, so you must be aware why data center skills are very important these days. One of the most important reason why you should go for this course is all the companies are moving from cloud from local server to cloud based server. Okay, so they are going cloud, and the demand for cloud data center engineer is huge. Second thing is salary surge. If you are a network engineer but you are trying to upskill yourself learning data center engineering, it is going to give you almost 30 to 50% salary increment. The third point is this skill is future proof. So if you are learning, it is not like AI is going to come and going to replace. This technology is very irreversible, so it is not going to immediately change or alter any new technology. So this is quite future proof. Now, who can target this course? So those who are currently network engineer, IT graduate, cloud engineers, those who are stuck in their career and want to change their career. So for them, this course is suitable. Now, what we are going to teach you. So as sir has already discussed all those things, here you can see what we are going to cover. We are going to dive deep into Nexus operating system, VPC, FabricPath, OTV, and VXLAN technology, Cisco ACI complete APIC mastery, policy management, contract, and full automation workflow. And we will also see end-to-end integration of Nexus plus ACI at enterprise level. Okay, and apart from this, the practices that we are going to follow will be industry standard. So if you are going from classroom to industry, you will not feel hesitant. You will have the understanding of production level network. Okay, so our major focus, as many of you have raised questions, are we are very good at theoretical part, but we are lacking in hands-on experience. We are lacking in practical learning. So this is what we are targeting. We have focused consistently in all our previous batches on practical learning, and in this session too, we are going to focus on hands-on experience. You are going to get the understanding of production level network. Okay, you will be guided through enterprise level scenarios. which will give you complete understanding of what is going in the industry. Apart from that, you will also get complete support, one-on-one mentorship, recording of the lectures that have happened in previous classes. Apart from this, we will also guide you through placements assistant. Like we have resume building, we have soft skill training. Apart from this, we will also conduct regularly mock interview session, which will prepare you in all the way to get high paying job.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. Yes, sir. You're audible, sir.
Okay, so then let's talk about the ACI part also till the time Mr. Arun will fix the problem. Okay, so
Okay.
we were talking about the Nexus switches here, but as all of you know, or you might have heard of this new technology, software-defined networking. By the way, it's not a new technology here. In 2020, we all know that in 2020, we faced a very deadly crisis known as Corona, right? So Corona was in the March, but Cisco made some changes in the whole certificates in Feb 2020. Before February 2020, the software-defined networking was not part of the curriculum. Cisco was not focused on this, and nobody was talking about network automation. But that was like a bomb, okay? And in 2020, Cisco introduced all of these things: network automation, software-defined networking, and all. So software-defined networking stands for SDN. Sorry, SDN stands for software-defined networking. So now it's not a new technology. It's almost 5+ years. We are talking about SDN and we are working on this. Okay. So software-defined networking do what? As its name suggests, in traditional way, what we do, guys, or how we make the configuration. How we make the configuration in traditional network. So in the traditional network, if I have 5 Nexus switches, this is my Nexus 1. This is my Nexus 2. This is my Nexus 3, let's say. Likewise, you have Nexus 4, Nexus 5, or you might have 20 Nexus switches. So the problem is, if I have to make the configuration, I have to log into each and every switch one by one. And I'll make the configuration. First, I log into Nexus 1, make the configuration. I'll log into Nexus 2, I'll make the configuration. Then I log into Nexus 3, 4, 5, and we'll make the configuration one by one. But it's a very challenging part. But configuration is not the only problem. Let's say I want to upgrade the operating system. If I want to upgrade OS, how I'll do it? I'll upgrade the operating system of Nexus 1, then Nexus 2, then Nexus 3, then Nexus 4, then Nexus 5. So the configuration is individual, right? Or you can say distributed configuration model. Distributed configuration model means that configuration of each and every switch is distributed. So they have their own independent configuration and you have to configure them one by one. But with the introduction of SDN, with the introduction of software-defined networking, what we did, or what Cisco did, not just Cisco, all vendors are offering the SDN solutions. So now with the help of SDN, guys, if I have the switches, let's say Nexus switches, so we have concept of a network controller now. So what is this network controller? This network controller is a software which can be installed as a virtual machine on a server, and this software or this network controller can manage the configuration of all the Nexus switches. So instead of configuring the Nexus switches individually or one by one, what I can go to the network controller. I can access this network controller through GUI, graphical user interface, and I can make the configuration. So now I will be doing everything from this network controller, from this centralized point. I can make the configuration. I can upgrade the operating system. I can configure the policies. I can troubleshoot it if there's a problem in the network. So whatever we do on the network devices one by one, now all this configuration can be done through the network controller or the centralized device. And why we VIPTELA SD-WAN. But now it is known as Cisco Catalyst SD-WAN. So they have rebranded it. And likewise, our focus is on data center networks. So when we talk about data center networks,
Sorry to interrupt you, Jack. So local area network, you told that the
yes. Hello.
hello, am I audible, Jack? So
Yeah, yes.
for the hello, am I audible, Jack? So
Yeah, yes.
for the LAN area network, you have told that the Cisco DNS Center. I think the name has been changed to the Cisco Catalyst Center, not DNS Center still exists. So it has been changed to the Cisco Catalyst Center. Am I right or wrong? If wrong, then correct me, right?
See, Cisco keeps changing the name, but
Yes.
the earlier name was Cisco DNAT.
DNS, no, for you told that no, for the wide area network, Cisco Catalyst SD-WAN we are preferring, but the local area network, the name has been changed to the DNS Center to the Cisco Catalyst Center. So that's why.
Same thing, yes.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
The new name is Catalyst Center. You're right. Then for the data center network, they offer us a solution which is known as Cisco ACI. ACI stands for Application Centric Infrastructure. Cisco ACI, Application Centric Infrastructure. So when we talk about Cisco ACI solution, guys, because our focus on Cisco ACI now, right? Not on the DNAC or SD-WAN. So in ACI, we have three main components. Main components of ACI. First is spine switches, leaf switches, and APIC. So the name of the controller is APIC, and APIC stands for Application Policy Infrastructure Controller. It stands for Application Policy Infrastructure Controller. So the name of the controller is APIC. Now the connectivity is like this. Spine switches are connected to leaf switches. Leaf switches are connected to the spine switches. So this is my spine 1. This is my spine 2. This is my leaf 1. And this is my leaf 2. So spine switch is connected with leaf. Leaf is connected with spine. Spine to spine and leaf to leaf connectivity is not allowed, guys. And the controller, which is known as APIC. APIC is dual homed to leaf 1 and leaf 2. So the APIC or the controller is not connected to the spine switches directly. It is connected to the leaf. And we have two interfaces. One is connected to leaf 1 and second is to leaf 2 for the redundancy purpose. Now the configuration of the leaf and spine switches will not be doing manually. The whole configuration is controlled by this controller, which is known as APIC, Application Policy Infrastructure Controller. So for the first time, I'll access this Cisco APIC using CLI, the command line interface. I'll make the initial configuration. After that, we'll get the GUI access. And once we get the GUI access of this Cisco APIC, we can make the configuration through it. Graphical user interface. That's why the first transition which is required is NX OS to ACI OS. Because if you want to integrate your Nexus switches with Cisco APIC, we have to change the operating system from NX OS to ACI OS. So here I was telling you that on the Nexus switches, we have two types of operating systems, right? Here, I think, yes, NX OS mode and ACI OS mode. So in the NX OS mode, the switches are independent. And in case of ACI OS mode, managed by Cisco APIC. So I will be managing my Nexus switches via Cisco APIC, but we have to change it. We have to change the OS from NX OS to ACI OS. And even if you go to Cisco official website, which is known as software.cisco.com, software.cisco.com, this is the official website of Cisco to download the operating system, guys. If I browse for data center, or if I browse for switches, let's say in the switches we have data center switches. Now let's go to 9000 series, and in 9000 series, if I just access one of the switch, let's say 93180. So in this, you notice two types of operating system: NX OS system software and NX OS system software ACI. So you are running in independent or this mode, so you will install this operating system, which is NX OS. But if you want to deploy ACI, so you have to change it to ACI operating system. This is the ACI image. So you have to download this official image from Cisco website. Once you download it, then you can change it on the Nexus switches, and then they are compatible with ACI. And in the ACI, we have the controller APIC. So APIC will start making the configuration on leaf and spine. But you know what more interesting part of this? You don't have to even execute a single command on the leaf and spine switches. They are just new switches, and Cisco APIC will discover them automatically. So for the first time, when you are deploying ACI, you are supposed to make configuration on the APIC controller only, not on the leaf and spine switches. Once my APIC is up and running, the APIC controller will automatically discover the leaf
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. Sorry to interrupt you, but day zero is required. I think in spine or leaf.
No.
Day zero configuration.
No.
At least in order to access from APIC.
So actually, what happens here?
Yeah.
There are two steps. Okay, if we go into the details, the first is the discovery. Okay, and the second thing is registration. So what happens? The APIC will discover the leaf and spine switches, okay, automatically, and you see these switches on the APIC GUI portal. Now there's a problem. What if someone has added their switch also? This switch will be discovered, right? And this switch will be become part of the fabric. That's a security breach. So now what APIC said? APIC said, I will discover the switches, but if you'll register them, only then they'll become part of the fabric. So we are not supposed to make any configuration on leaf and spine. We are just responsible to register those switches. And this is also done through the GUI, graphical user interface.
Okay.
So I'll just do what? I'll check the serial numbers. Okay, this is my switch, this is my switch, this is my switch, this is my switch. So by verifying the serial number, I'll register them. But once this outside switch is discovered, so I'll say, okay, this switch doesn't match in my list, so I'll not register it. And this switch will not be able to be the part of ACI fabric. So the switches will be discovered automatically, but you have to register them. But initial configuration is not required. All right. And in highly scalable network, this APIC, either it can be standalone it means you have just one APIC, or we can have cluster. Means more than one APIC will be deployed. So when we create a cluster, in the cluster at least 3 switches are required. In the cluster, at least 3 APICs are required. So you can build a cluster of APICs also for the redundancy purpose. Yes, guys. Any question from the ACI part? Please feel free to ask.
Hi, Jack. My question is, for example, the configurations on these these leaf and spine switches, will they propagate automatically without intervention, or like, I don't know if you have gotten me. My question is, when you introduce the APIC, and you've said that you're not required to log into these other spine and leaf switches. So how do our configuration pushed?
See, for the first time, you are not supposed to make any initial configuration. Later on, if you want to make any configuration on these spine and leaf switches, the access will be on the APIC. So you will create the configuration on APIC, and then APIC will push the configuration. Then APIC will push the configuration.
Okay, so like they don't, like, for example, if the leaf 2 and leaf 1 are configured, and you introduce another leaf 3 switch, they will not sync automatically. You have to push.
No, you have to push it from the APIC.
Okay.
And APIC
So-
discovers these leaf and spine switches using LLDP protocol, link layer discovery protocol.
Okay, so we need to, just like a registered, just like a PNP portal of Cisco or some any other.
No, this is Cisco APIC itself.
Okay.
Yes.
Jack, I have one question regarding in this ACI. So, like multi-port IPN and ISNs we are using for the inter-site connectivity. So, please explain about the multi-port in which scenario you can use the IPN, or in which scenario we can use the ISN, because I am confused here. Because for the IPN and ISNs, if you have time, then please explain. Multi-port and multi-site I'm asking for the IPN and ISN.
IPN stands for inter-port network.
Right.
So when you're deploying multi-port environment, then you'll use the IPN. And if you're deploying multi-site, then you will use the inter-site network, which is known as ICN also.
ISN. So multi-port, when we are talking about the multi-port, it means then like the data centers which we are creating, or like so the both those data centers are in same location or different location. Suppose that I have one data center in Delhi, another in Mumbai. So here we can use IPN or ISN.
A very good question. So IPN is inside the data center network only. When you have a large size network, so you deploy IPN. So basically what happens by default, when we are deploying this leaf and spine switches, so this pair, this can be known as one port. Okay.
Right.
Now let's say I have 6 spine switches and lot of leaf switches also. So now, due to the cable length, it's not possible to connect all leaf switches directly to the spine switches. So what we do, we connect multiple spines, and then we can create multiple ports also. Let's say this pair of spine, they are port 1. Then we have another pair of leaf and spine that would be considered as second port. But they exist in the same building, or they exist in the same campus. But when it comes to intersite means that one site is in Bangalore, second site is in Gurgaon, let's say,
Yes.
or Delhi. So in that case, they are in the different sites, and it is known as multi-site deployment.
Understood. Thank you.
Yes, guys, please feel free to ask about the ACI. That's all from my side. I'm just taking your questions. Otherwise, then Arun is here again. So Arun will explain the enrollment process and all. Arun, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So for redundancy purpose, 2 APIC are enough, right? Why 3 APIC is required? So 3 APICs form the cluster.
Sir, in class, you will provide in a lab just like in cloud, or just like in a physical laptop or any kind of server?
So we'll provide the lab access. You can access it from your laptop. Okay.
No,
And
no.
Jack,
Actually, I'm
what
asking where you hosted that lab.
On our server.
Okay.
Jack, one question I have regarding Epic. So we are upgrading Epic, and iOS or iOS got corrupted. Due to that, we are unable to access the Epic. For that, we are using CIMC, right? Cisco Integrated Management Center, through which we can manage or and Cisco like CIMC, like also we can manage the RAID like CPU hardware. So for the what matlab for the CIMC, so what RAID matlab the server we are, on which Epic image are installed we are managing, how, because CIMC is other hardware devices and Epic is other servers like Cisco C series server. So to the CIMC, what we can correlate to the CIMC? Only OS installations or like upgradations if corrupted in Epic we can do. For other benefit, if you had then explained, then for what purpose CIMC is used for the Epic?
See, CIMC, first of all, CIMC stands for Cisco Integrated Management Controller. Okay.
Right.
So it allows us to manage this from a remote location also. If I want to add the images for the first time, now I can't do it from the GUI. So what I can do, I can just put that image in a USB pen drive and then I connect it to the physical server, and through the CIMC I can boot my image on this physical hardware or physical server. Plus, with the help of the CIMC, we can also perform the firmware upgradations. We can also monitor the hardware components like CPU, memory, temperature, and fans. This is the use cases of CIMC on most of the platforms. Okay.
Sir, CMC is different than question, sir. Is different from the APIC. Is a different server?
So CIMC is not a server. CIMC is a feature in Cisco servers. That's why
Okay.
we call it Cisco Integrated Management Controller. So it is like if you are not getting the GUI access for the first time, right? Because you have to make the initial configuration, but you're not present nearby the device. So you can access through the CIMC from a remote location also, and you can just make the configuration, the initial configuration, the OS upgrade, the IP configuration, the VLAN configuration, and all. So it is part of the ACI, or it is part of the APIC also, or the server also. For redundancy purpose, 2 APICs are enough, right? Why 3 APICs are required? So 3 APICs are required to build the majority actually. Like if one APIC goes down, so we still have 2 APICs and they can create majority 2 out of 3. Because when we talk about the APIC or when we talk about the cluster, if you want to make the configuration, you have to have in the priority. So if only 2 APIC exist and out of 2 APICs we have one which is failed, so there's a problem which is known as a split brain problem. So once we'll talk about this deployment part, at that time we'll discuss what is this scenario, split brain. So that's why we always make sure that we have at least 3 APIC in the cluster. So even if one APIC goes down, we have the majority, and if we have the majority, we are still allowed to make the configuration. We are still allowed to push the configuration. Okay, Sahit, is it?
So because on Jack, we are using 3 Epic, and if 2 Epic goes faulty in that scenario, we can do the changes or do any
No.
modification in configuration.
Brother,
One AC?
for
Traffic
your
will be
detailed
forwarded,
class, hello, listen. If you need a detailed class with trainer, you can reach to us. We will share the WhatsApp number. You can connect with the trainer in personal, right? You have to pay, you have to purchase the course or maybe 1-to-1 session. Right here, it's not possible to clear everything one by one. Sorry. If you have any general question, like apart from learning all the technologies, you are allowed to ask.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, Arun, now you can take over. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
You're
Sorry,
welcome.
guys, there was some interruption. So let me share my screen first. I will resume from where I lost the connection. So I think I was on this slide. So I was talking how this course will impact your career. So first of all, after finishing this course, you will be able to design next generation data centers. You will have complete authority over your interview. If you have a interview scheduled, you are going to visit an interview, you are going to definitely command the interview, because the way we are going to train you is above your imagination. We have structured the course in such a way that there is no gap between the learning and the industry. So basically we are bridging the gap between industry and your classroom. And after finishing this course, you will be the expert of data center networking. Now, I have already talked about Tommy sir, who is already an industry expert. So you will be directly learning from him. If you have any doubt in case, so you can personally reach him out. He will guide you one-on-one in mentorship, and you can get all your queries resolved. Apart from this course is not only for getting job. We are also going to focus on your certification roadmap. So we will guide you how you can get certification, which will add additional benefit in your resume.